Last week we talked about Voodoo Floss in the ankle if we're dealing with a stiff ankle or maybe an ankle sprain or something. Today we're going to talk a little upstream with the calf. So we're going to take Voodoo Floss and we're going to wrap up the calf here. So I'm going to start up higher. So again, last week we kind of talked about capturing the ankle. This week we're going to capture that calf here. So I'm going to try to get the band to skin. I'm going to start relatively low here, although you don't necessarily have to. So what I would say is I'm going to capture a lot of calf here, and I'm going to pull about 50% tension. One thing we didn't talk about on that last video, I'm going to pull about 50% tension and around 50% overlap here. Ballpark it, doesn't need to be exact here, guys, but we're going to put some good compression into the tissue here. I'm going to capture, again, a lot of the calf, starting relatively low, working my way all the way up. If we're dealing with something, let's say, that's a little bit more kind of gastrocentric, a little higher, we could just capture a little bit higher. Or if we're dealing with something that maybe is a little bit lower, again, you could just capture a little bit lower. I like to just kind of wrap the whole thing up here. And kind of same idea as last week, I'm gonna work the ankle and calf through a little bit of dorsiflexion here to start and a little bit of load. So I might do some heel to toe rocks here. Again, just put a little bit of load into that system. One of the things too to think about with Voodoo Floss is if there's a particular thing that I want, a particular movement, let's say, that I want to impact, I want to work through that movement while I'm wrapped. So let's say I want to impact my running, I'm going to wrap and I'm going to do either a little bit of kind of running in place or just some easy back and forth work here. Again, trying to get a little bit of the movement function in that I am trying to improve with my Voodoo Floss. So if I'm trying to improve how my calf is feeling at the bottom of my squat, same thing, I'm going to go into the bottom of my squat. The other thing that we can do with a wrapped up Voodoo Floss, or with a wrapped up calf, is we can take that calf down to a kettlebell here, and that Voodoo Floss is going to allow me to really apply a lot of pressure into the handle of the kettlebell here, and I can kind of hit some basic trigger point movements here while I am Voodoo Flossed and really apply some strong force down into that tissue here. The Voodoo Floss will kind of act a little bit, as almost like a little bit of armor to the muscle here, so we can really get deep into that tissue here with the Voodoo Floss and be kind of aggressive on a hard apparatus like the kettlebell. So you can get a little more aggressive with some soft tissue work while you're Voodoo Flossed, and then we'll pop that guy off. And again, same idea. We'll see a nice perfusion of blood into those tissues. I'm gonna get up, walk around, get moving. Again, we can be, if we're dealing with something, if we're dealing with an injury or incident here, we can be extremely proactive and be Voodoo Flossing multiple times a day. Or if we are just kind of trying to stay ahead of the game, Voodoo Floss on a regular basis, a couple times a week, and use this as part of the arsenal to keep the body feeling good.